And we are diving headfirst into a shocking revelation about Nigeria's 2024 budget. According to a recent analysis by Tracker, an open source service delivery monitoring platform, the federal government has allocated budgets worth a staggering 628 billion naira to the wrong agencies. This includes misplaced projects under agencies like the SMEDAN, and allocations for vague empowerment projects that are difficult to track.
Vague is the word. Now, what does this mean for fiscal transparency and accountability in Nigeria? Well, I also have to ask, what impact could this have on service delivery for the average Nigerian? Joining us today to break down this alarming situation is Sami Tunji, financial analyst from Nairametrics. Sami Tunji, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. So please, let's get right into it.
Thank you for coming on.
So Sami,
thank you.
Tracker's report revealed that over 628 billion naira worth of projects were allocated to the wrong agencies in 2024 budget. How does such a massive misallocation occur, and what does it suggest about Nigeria's budget planning process?
Well, I think it's a troubling scenario because usually a project is meant to go through a certain process and is meant to be vetted by the budget office, by the National Assembly and all that. So the appearance of our or the allocation of about 628 billion on over 2,000 projects to the wrong agency is kind of alarming in a sense. Now, if you look at the breakdown of the figures, for instance, SMEDAN was allocated, I think, about 5 billion to create, to purchase official vehicles for traditional rulers. This is a kind of wasteful spending because it has literally no direct benefit to ordinary Nigerians that are suffering, that are battling inflation of about 33%. In a sense, it kind of encourages corruption. It encourages a lot of other vices in the country. Now, let's look at the example of the SMEDAN buying official vehicles for selected traditional rulers. When it comes to time for election, such traditional ruler can become vulnerable enough to influence voting in their communities. So this kind of distortion has detrimental effects on the country and a lot of on the economy generally, because now we are battling with high inflation, and certain wasteful spending of the government can also contribute to the issue of inflation in the country.
Sami, I'm so glad you're talking about wasteful spending and how it would affect the economy, the nation's economy. The report also mentioned that 732 billion naira has been allocated to vague empowerment projects, which has been increasingly inserted into the budget, right? So why are these empowerment projects problematic for fiscal transparency? Let's start there.
Okay, now we talk about empowerment program. What exactly do they mean by empowerment program? Is it to go to a community, talk to them about, oh, you can achieve this, you can achieve that? Or is it buying some items, maybe buying, I think there's one that had to do with machines for grinding or things like that, or buying sewing machine for people in a particular community. Most of them are even used as party gifts to their party members. So in a sense, these are significantly wasteful because there's no clear transparency around how has this money been spent, who exactly are the beneficiaries, how has it made their life better over probably a 1 year period, yes, also the amount is how much of that allocation has actually been spent. Although there's still the issue of this money allocated actually being spent, they've been released and spent. There's a separate discussion on that, but the issue still remains: what exactly is the main significance of this empowerment program? How empowered is probably a woman in a rural environment struggling to make ends meet if okay, I think there was a time that there was a political figure that donated, I think, wheelbarrows to a particular community. Now, someone pushing wheelbarrow across maybe the market area, trying to make a living and earning maybe a little change every day. That person is still battling with food inflation, which will erode most of the person's income. So I think significant work still needs to be done to investigate how this empowerment program are being carried out across the country, to investigate where exactly are the beneficiaries of this empowerment program and how truly empowered they are. Has such program made their life better? If not, then such money should be allocated for more significant public infrastructure projects in the country.
About the wheelbarrows, I can understand that, well, people might be able to use the wheelbarrows to maybe fend for a living, but it's that it came from the news agency budget, the news agency allocation that really worries me. And that's not the only place we saw that. We also saw that happen in the Ministry of Women Affairs, where they were allocating funds for refrigerators in the Senate President's constituency. So with all of this, how does it affect public trust in the budget system?
Yeah, thank you. So now we're talking about an agency like NAN, public donating, buying wheelbarrow to donate to a community. First, they have no business doing that. It is not their mandates. In a sense, when you are assigning or allocating funds to the wrong agency, you kind of break the fragile trust between the people and those in political power. First, they are making demands. Oh, we want to increase tax or want to expand our tax base. We need to get more money, and you are introducing a number of taxes. People will feel this. So if you are expecting the public to offer something, what are you giving in turn to the public? So in a way, it's creating a kind of trust misalignment, because you are not giving people the reason to actually trust you, to say, oh, this money that you have budgeted, they are doing it for our own good. Fine, maybe the ordinary person that gets a wheelbarrow may be excited, oh, I've seen something to use for my daily business. But imagine if such a person has different family members to feed, and to what extent would that money be made? The money made from the wheelbarrow business be enough to feed maybe a family of 3 or 5? So there are more economic issues that needs to be addressed beyond just plastic empowerment program that are being carried out by political office holders. So until we fix that issue in the budgets of wrong agency getting wrong allocation, for instance, I think there's an agency for Center for Agricultural Mechanization also getting money to build offices for Federal Road Safety Corps. That is, the agency has no business whatsoever building offices for Federal Road Service Corps. Nigeria has one of the lowest agricultural mechanization in the world, not just even in Africa. Such agencies should be focused on that aspect. So for an agency not doing what it's meant to do and doing something else, kind of shows that you don't care about the people you are meant to cater for, people you are meant to be concerned about. And those are like major issues with the budget.
And let's boil it down to the root cause of this. Do you think it's because of, why do you think this is happening? Is it that there's no accountability? Of course, we understand that transparency is a different conversation entirely. But how is it that these funds are being allocated to ministries and agencies and departments that they ought not to be, and on trivial things that it shouldn't be there? So who then should be held accountable? What is the root cause of this?
Well, I think it boils down significantly to corruption, then to the lack of thorough vetting in the process, the poor job done by probably the National Assembly in truly vetting to ensure that agencies are getting what is in alignment with their mandates. So yes, corruption plays a significant role. Then I think agencies like the EFCC and ICPC need to also step up their game to actually investigate certain things in the budget. Should this thing be I think there was a report by Center for Social Justice that said about 500 billion allocation are just for frivolous item. Those are very, very concerning, and they need to be addressed.
So, Sami, the tracker report called for agencies to actually investigate the budget, also the agencies that have been allocated these funds. But I wanted to ask you what responsibility we have as individuals. I don't know if you saw our perspective this morning and the fact that most Nigerians don't even know how the budget works, let alone, speaking of where the budgets or the allocations should go and which agency is responsible for what allocation. So what responsibility do Nigerians have, or should there be some sort of awareness when it comes to budget allocation so people would know who exactly to hold responsible for what?
Well, I think there's a level of awareness already. If you go to Twitter, budgets, tracker, and a whole lot of other agencies, even general media platforms are doing a lot of work already, although there is still more to be done. But we cannot blame ordinary Nigerians for not knowing a number of things that are happening, because a number of them are on the streets trying to make their.
But it would seem this is why they're actually taking advantage of the situation, because if they don't know exactly where this is supposed to go, and they don't know now, so let's just get it done anyhow, put it in this agency, they don't know any better. So I'm thinking...
Well, that's the sad reality, but as media personnel, we have a greater role to play to ensure that the ordinary person, even in a rural area, gets the news and is aware of these issues, these irregularities in the budget, to be well informed, to be able to ensure that those in political office are accountable for these allocations.
And holding them responsible, right? I'm always curious. This report is out there. Tracker has done it. Budget has done it. A number of other non-profit organizations who are keen on transparency are doing these. But unfortunately, this information just ends there being public knowledge. We don't see the anti-graft agency like the FCCPC or the EFCC, hold, for example, the Minister of Women's Affairs accountable, culpable for it. Should they? What next? And, calling for responsibility.
I think yesterday there was a news that the EFCC said that Nigerians should report abandoned, uncompleted constituency projects, and that's a start. Hopefully, it will not just be, oh, you guys should do this. They should also be able to earn the trust of Nigerians by taking further steps to hopefully open a case that Nigerians will be aware of, not a secret case, that Nigerians will be aware of, to kind of build this broken trust to say, oh, yes, we understand that there are issues and we are working towards addressing that issue. I think that is very important. And the EFCC needs to do better. The ICPC needs to do better. The Budget Office of the Federation needs to do better to ensure that there's first monitoring and evaluation. This allocation, when funds are released, to what extent have they been done? I think Tracker is also doing a great job tracking constituency projects and other allocations across the country. It's now up to agencies that has the power to follow up and say, oh, you got this money to do this in this particular area. What's the progress report? What have you done? If you have not done this, why haven't you done this? And follow up on that. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
A lot.
On the side, to the need for more transparency, to the need to go to the grassroots level to ensure that they are well informed, and hopefully with time may get better.
Well, Sami, you put it very succinct and nicely. I don't think anyone else would have done justice to this topic. Sami Tunji, he is a financial analyst with Nairametrics, and he joined us today to discuss the revealing, damning irregularities with the 2024 budget as reported by Tracker. Once again, Sami, many thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Sami. Thank you very much.